Hello, and welcome to your favorite podcast, Comics and Collectibles in the Crawl Space. And as usual, I am your host, Kevin, and we have literally half the staff we had last week. We had 6 people last week, 3 co-hosts and 2 moderators. Now we've got 1 co-host and 1 moderator, but guess what? It's about as awesome of a co-host as possible. We've been pining for this for months, and I'm so happy that he's here. So you want to say hi, Johnny?
Greetings.
So I know you plan on keeping your picture up, so just talk about that real quick. Who is that picture?
It's everybody's favorite superhero, Wave Rider.
Wave Rider. Oh, okay. Oh, this guy.
Yeah.
Okay.
You might think if you look at him that he's a Herald of Galactus, but he is not a Herald of Galactus. He is a DC character. That's sort of obscure and not, and we sort of made jokes about it in the past.
Yeah.
That he's sort of an obscure character. He's a shiny Firestorm sort of Herald of Galactus looking guy.
Is he like a copy? Do you know the like, was it Silver Surfer and then Wave Rider, or
Yeah, he was. I think he was created in the either late '80s or early '90s. I think maybe the early '90s.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, so he does sort of just have that aesthetic. Like there was a lot of characters with that aesthetic back then, with flaming hair and shiny bodies. Yeah.
Yeah, well, that's funny though. And I know that secretly, as much as you mock it, it's one of your favorite characters at this point. So you can just go there.
Yeah, he's shiny. I like shiny things. So that's cool.
All right. Well, hey, I wanted to just mention some. And I actually meant to mention it before the introductions, but I have a hard time to work this in. But on today's episode, we're going to cover the latest Moon Knight, the latest Halo. We got a super freebie to add to the Fun Fan Freebie phrase giveaway. And then we're going to talk about comic book stores, business models, and our opinions and thoughts on those. So, if this is the first time you're tuning in, we also have regular segments as well, but this is what this episode's in store for. I'm going to start with the Fun Fan Freebie phrase to give an update on that first. And unfortunately, the update hasn't changed at all. We still don't have anybody that wants my free stuff. And, you and I talked about it, and I was interested in your opinion, Johnny, with regards to why you think we're not getting anyone to get the freebie. So we can go ahead and share that with the people that are listening. What was your speculation as to why we're not getting someone to capitalize on this freebie?
Well, it just seems like a little bit of work. I think I like watching on YouTube or listening on YouTube so that I can see the pictures, because I think pictures are awesome. That's part of the reason I like comic books. I'm sure there are people who listen, are blind viewers and listen just to the podcast only. I just feel like you're getting only part of the experience by doing that. So I like to listen on YouTube. In case you guys throw up pictures, I want to see what the pictures are.
Right. But basically, you don't think the prize, with it being maxed out at an $8 prize right now, is worth the work?
I think if you actually put up a specific prize, you'd be more likely to get somebody who's like, I want that, rather than have to sort of think about what they want that would be within that price range and then researching whether or not it is within that price range. I think you'd be better off actually giving out a specific thing.
Okay, bet. Let's give this out. And I'm not joking. A 9.2 graded copy of this book.
Is it CGC graded?
It's CGC graded. It is now added to the Fun Fan Freebie lot. A 9.2 CGC copy of Star Wars The High Republic, #1. This is a variant cover. I don't know how to describe it exactly if you're listening to the podcast, but basically there's 4 Jedi on the cover. There's some big monster in the back. I have not read this, so I'm sorry for butchering the people that do know these characters. And it's a great cover. It's a great book, CGC graded. So participate in the Fun Fan Freebie phrase giveaway, and this can be yours on top of, in addition to the $6 worth of any geek culture good you want to begin with. And then you can bump it up to $7 value by answering the trivia question in the Spotify app. I guess that's the only place you can see it. And then lastly, you can bump it up to $8 value geek item by allowing us to then share who you are and what you've won on the live stream and on our various social media. So this is added to the pot. 9.2 CGC copy of this book you're seeing on the screen, and it's Star Wars High Republic #1 for the people listening on the podcast. So now, John, with that, would it be worth the work?
Yeah, that's pretty cool, man.
Okay.
Yeah, I would do that now. Yeah.
I'm assuming after this live stream, you're going to be like, dude, what are you thinking? You're insane to be doing that.
I didn't have to wait until after the podcast. I'm thinking it already.
No, I mean, you were going to say it to me, but now you're saying it already as well. But for people that have watched the live stream in the past, that's a book that I got hooked up with free of charge myself. So I'm passing on the goods to the listeners. So, Exceller Comics really aren't out anything except for the money we could have made on it, of course. But, I'm willing to go there to get the Fun Fan Freebie phrase giveaway rolling. So listen to the end of any of the podcasts we've had out for the last few weeks for details. But basically, it's a 3-word phrase that you need to get from today's live stream, Tuesday's podcast, which is an edited form of this live stream, and then Friday's midweek crawl through. You have to listen to all 3 of those separately to find out what the 3 words are, and then go to excellercomics.com to submit the answer through a couple other ways you can reach out to us. But it has to be through the website. So basically, this is 4 things you kind of have to do, with the 4th one being through the website. If you just send us an email or a comment somewhere else, it's not going to fly. You got to go to excellercomics.com and answer through the 2 options of the website. It's I can't remember actually what the names of them are. Like I said, listen to the details after the podcast. But the first word of the phrase is sun. So that's the first word. Work on getting those other 2. And then hopefully we'll give this away next week, and we'll have some exciting news next week. After this edition, I hope it's enough. So,
is it sun like sun, S-U-N, or S-O-N?
I'm not going to tell you.
Oh, you're not even going to say?
No. You'll know which one it is by getting the other 2 words. That's
sure. I see.
Yeah,
I see.
Okay. Pretty sweet, right?
Yeah, that's awesome, man. That's
okay.
Yeah.
All right, now we're gonna move into what I watched this week, and I kind of went crazy again this week. Watched a lot of stuff. Excuse me. I went a little bit old school as well as the new stuff. We'll get the old school stuff out of the way. But I like checking out the old school stuff, stuff that I hadn't seen. And it's not too crazy old school. I'm not talking 80s, 90s stuff here. But the first one I watched is 2018's Robin Hood. I didn't write down the actors in this, but Jamie Foxx plays Little John, which is a little bit of a change there. And this is kind of a new take on the story as well. Do you remember the Sheriff of Nottingham being attached to the Crusades in any way, John? In what you remember from Robin Hood's story in general?
Well, he took over for King Richard because of the Crusades. King Richard was on the Crusades. That's why he took over. Right.
Okay. But as far as him being still attached to being a part of the Crusades, and that's why he was kind of hated. Do you remember? Is that something that
I thought that he was hated because he wasn't the legitimate king. He wasn't supposed to be in charge. King Richard was supposed to be in charge, but he was off doing the Crusades.
Okay.
That was,
And he was
yeah.
obviously bad. Right. Okay. Gotcha. So maybe that's not too much of a new take, but I didn't remember that. So in general, this is a really good. It's more of an action flick than anything. It's you can imagine kind of new age action with a lot of flipping, a lot of like Hawkeye moves and stuff. Flipping and shooting arrows, shooting multiple arrows, that kind of
Yeah.
thing. So it's pretty cool. Definitely give that a recommend. And then this movie, it's called The Tangle. This was out in 2019. Oh, and you can watch that Robin Hood on HBO Max. I watched this on Amazon Prime. And this is a pretty interesting movie. Definitely sci-fi, but the movie plays out more like a murder mystery. So The Tangle is like this futuristic answer to violence and crime in the future. They've created the tangle, and everybody's in the tangle, and basically the tangle prevents anybody from doing bad things. But then there's a murder, so they got to figure out how the heck that happened with the tangle being so perfect. This definitely like more to a B movie type thing. It was pretty good if you're into like murder mystery type stuff, rather than sci-fi. As far as a sci-fi movie in general, it was pretty weak. But the murder mystery aspect, if you're into that kind of thing, I guess was okay. I definitely didn't see the ending coming, so that was pretty good. And then that's, I don't know if I mentioned or not, that's on Amazon Prime. Then another one I watched on Dune, on HBO Max, is Dune. I rewatched this. I talked about this when me and Lexi saw it in the theater, and I rewatched it again this past week, and it was better the second time, in my opinion. If you haven't seen this movie, get HBO Max. It's on there for free. Get a month. I think if you have never had HBO Max, you can get the first month free trial. This is such a great movie. Did you see this, John? You said you saw this too, right?
I started watching it, but did not finish it.
Do you have HBO Max?
I do.
Okay. Well, finish it. It's great. It's awesome.
I didn't like it.
You didn't. How far did you get into it?
Half an hour, maybe.
Oh yeah, the last hour and a half is the best part.
It's real long, is it not? Is it very long?
I don't know. Is it long, Lexi? It's maybe 2.5 hours or something. It's not 3, is it?
It's almost 3.
Is it? Okay.
I have a real short attention span.
Okay, gotcha. Well, I loved it. Lexi loved it because of the guy in the center there. What's his name again, Lexi? Timothy Chalamet. Yeah.
Oh,
Which one? Which guy in the center? The one with the big head, or the?
The biggest head on the screen, the top middle one.
Zendaya.
And Zendaya's in there. She's awesome. And Aquaman's in there. And Thanos is in there. And and Poe Dameron's in there. All the actors and actresses, whatever their names are. But anyway, it's a great movie. So I loved it. And then just to cover a couple that I've already talked about the last couple weeks as well, but I'm just kind of continuing that journey, is Resident Alien, which is on the Sci-Fi Network, but I actually watch it on Peacock, which I guess the Sci-Fi Network is, what's that, NBC broadcast? So have you checked this out at all, John?
No, I don't have those services.
Okay, maybe I should just hook you up with some codes, because this is hilarious. I think you'd love it.
Oh, okay.
I definitely love it. And I'm actually on, I just finished episode 6. I'm on episode 7 of the first season. There's 2 seasons, and Patrick and Mike love this a lot. So I think you'd definitely think it's pretty hilarious as well. And then I finished the first season of Picard, which that's on Paramount Plus. And man, it was awesome.
You're the only person that I know that likes Picard.
What?
Yeah, you're the only. Well, not that I'm talking to actual people I know. Just I've seen people discussing it online and stuff, and yeah, people don't like it. Star Trek people don't like it.
The show or the character? The show. The show?
Oh yeah, the show. Yeah,
oh,
people love Picard. You know.
Yeah, that's
I
shocking.
think anytime you bring something back after it's been gone for a while, people are going to have expectations, and it's never. I think they're always going to struggle with living up to people's preconceived expectations. I think you'll see that in Star Wars. I think you'll see it in anything where they take sort of a hiatus. I think people end up with sort of this their own sort of little fan fiction inside their heads, their own head
Yeah,
canon,
yeah,
and of course they're gonna deviate from somebody's individual head canon of how things, either if they do a prequel or a sequel, like how things would have gone after. People have too much time to sort of really put that into their heads, what they think things should be.
yeah.
Also, you're talking about like different writers than the original that people loved. It's just I think it's naturally sort of going to have a little bit of a different feel to it,
Yeah, I can
and
relate to that
people get
obviously
upset.
with Boba Fett. I kind of felt like,
Yes,
yeah,
yes, yes, because you had an idea of what you wanted that to be before you went in.
right, yeah. But yeah, I'd love to. Well, and talk to is the key. I wouldn't want to just read a review. The negative things that people were saying about it. But I'd love to talk to a Picard fan that didn't like this to find out what they didn't like because, like you said, I didn't have any preconceived notions really, but
Yeah.
it seemed to play out naturally. And we talked about how we want to start talking about spoilers. So I'll go ahead and talk about a spoiler. If you don't want to hear any spoilers about this show, go ahead and exit stage left. Give me a minute. But I just wanted to say that he actually dies on the last episode of the first season. And they go through this whole big thing that I was like, it actually got to me a bit with, how heartwarming it was, or whatever you want to call it. It was really well done. And then they ended up bringing him back because there's a season 2. And I won't explain how that happened, but I really liked the storyline in general. In general, he had to come back for a mission to save the universe from this conflict between Romulans and androids. So it was pretty interesting, But like I said, I'm not a Trekkie, so what do I know? And then I watched the next episode of Halo, also on Paramount Plus. Like I said, Johnny, I need to get you some codes because this is really great. I'm even loving it even more as it goes along. Do you remember a whole lot of the story from the game, John? Or
I'll be honest with you. I played 2 or 3 of the games, and I really struggled to understand what was happening. I just knew that there was sort of some kind of alien invasion and stuff. So I would say no.
okay,
I sort of had some kind of understanding. I feel like I started with Halo Reach as a game, if you
yeah,
remember that one.
yeah, definitely.
And
That's
then
my
I
favorite
and then
one.
I played Halo 3, and then I think I started playing Halo 4, but I never really got that into that one. But I feel like when you start at number 3 of something, or a game that's sort of an offshoot of, like, I felt like I was sort of coming in partway through a story that I didn't completely understand.
Yeah.
Unless it's just a really simple story, like this aliens are attacking and they put up some kind of a thing around the Earth or something to, I don't know.
Well, the yeah, it's obviously it is a pretty complex story with the ring being the kind of center of the focal point of the story, and they follow true to that with the show too. It's got a few different takes here and there, but in general, it focuses on the Master Chief's journey to stop the creation of the ring, and the kind of that's where we are. And
Is this animated, or is it live
live
action
action,
type of?
man. This live
Oh,
action
okay.
and it's awesome too. It looks great.
Oh,
That's
yeah.
definitely the best part of it, in my opinion. It's literally perfect.
Yeah,
Live.
because I saw the pictures and I honestly didn't know if it was because it looks so much like the game.
Yeah, no, it's perfect. Yeah, it's perfect live
Yeah.
action, in my opinion. So,
Okay.
and a little spoiler alert coming in too, if you want to leave for a few seconds here. Lexi's clogging her ears, but they actually, in this last episode, he has his emotion inhibitors, I guess, which is kind of what Spartans always have. He removed that, So now we're experiencing an emotional Master Chief, and they don't go too far with it, but they play with that a little bit in this last episode, and I really enjoyed that as well. Wish Tyler was here so I could ask him about that, because I'd be interested in his take on that, since he's more of a Halo purist than I am. So
he has like an emotion inhibitor.
yeah, all Spartans do. Yeah.
How convenient would that be for just certain situations?
Yeah, exactly. Right.
It'd be wonderful. What a great invention that we're going to eventually come up with, an emotion inhibitor.
Right. So, but yeah, and it was equally as interesting experiencing him not having it in there, at least to me. I thought it was a nice little idea of a way to get us closer to Master Chief, because that's the biggest thing I think we're learning is Master Chief personally, because the story is very familiar. Obviously, the Halo universe action, we're all familiar with that. But really getting to know Master Chief, that's kind of what's pretty interesting to me on top of other things. So
let me ask you this: Does he have like backed up emotions? Like he starts crying about his dog that he may have died years before?
Okay, no, and it's very interesting you say that, though. See, you're so intuitive to things. So another spoiler alert coming in. He has a moment where he has a flashback, and he has slight feelings about this flashback that he wants to experience more feelings about the flashback. So that's what causes him to take it out.
Yeah.
So, and he has a flashback because when he touches something, this artifact, it gives him the flashback. So he intentionally takes his inhibitor out and comes back and touches it again to then live the flashback with his emotions utilized. And the reason I said you're intuitive is because it is childhood emotions involving a dog. So,
that's funny.
So anyway, it's good. Big recommend. And then, do you even have Disney Plus, John?
Yeah, I have Disney Plus, yeah.
Okay, so then are you doing the next one, which is Moon Knight? Are you checking that one out?
I have not. There's only, what is there, 2 episodes on there so far?
3 episodes now.
3 episodes. Yeah, I like to wait. I don't like the feeling of wanting more. I usually wait until there's a bunch on there before I'll start watching something.
It's so funny you say that, or I shouldn't say funny. It's so, I guess odd to me that you'd say that, because one of the things that I love about that kind of thing is it kind of reminds me of back in the day. We had to wait a week for the next episode, and you had to watch it because we didn't have a recording of it or streaming or anything like that. So we had to watch it when it was out, and then we had to wait till the next week to see the next episode. I missed that feeling. As I was younger. I guess you hated that when you were younger, I guess, huh?
Well, I didn't hate it, but I felt like the format that people created television in back then was different, in that most stories were a little bit more standalone than they are now. Back then, there wasn't as much continuation from one episode to another episode.
Okay.
As most shows are now.
Yeah.
So it wasn't like you were ending on cliffhangers too often back then.
Okay.
You tune in for sort of just a whole nother episode where they're doing something completely different than the last episode, with a few plot points maybe thrown in that sort of continue, but not that much.
Okay. So you feel like if it would have been more like modern storytelling, you may have been annoyed about it back then as well, but since it was different, you weren't annoyed back then.
Absolutely.
Gotcha. Well, I like it. I like the feeling of the cliffhangers every week, and they're doing a really good job with the show. I love it. Are you much of a Moon Knight guy from comics?
No, sir.
Yeah, I'm almost the same way. So this is all.
I think he looks cool. Like, he has a cool look. That's about it.
I didn't even know. Sorry, go ahead.
I have some Moon Knight comics. Like, I have some, but I never really got into it.
Yeah, me too. The same exact thing. I have the comics because he looks cool, but then I really didn't know about the story. I didn't even know about, he's like he has this multiple personality disorder, schizophrenic, kind of thing.
Yeah.
So they're playing it out, in my opinion, extremely well. The visuals are a little bit. I don't know how to say it. It's not really negative or positive in my opinion as far as the visuals, but as far as how Moon Knight looks in particular. But it's not bad. It's just not anything that was really blowing me away. But the story is good, and I think it's been played out well. So big recommend on that one as well. And then that's about it for me. I'm trying to catch something on each streaming platform because that's kind of how you find new stuff, and that's why I need to get you some codes because there's a lot of new fun stuff kind of everywhere all the time coming out. You just kind of have to seek it out, which of course is why I'm doing the what Kevin watched segment, so people that may not be familiar with what's on what can check it all out everywhere. All right. So want to move into Mike's top 3 covers coming out this week. And let me get this graphic up first. I know you have opinions on this. Right, John?
Yeah, I mean, my opinions on most modern sort of comic books covers, I guess it's going to be the same opinion for a lot of these. My critique of modern comic book covers, I guess,
is what? Do you want to?
I think most of them don't tell any kind of they don't want. I don't look at it and think like, oh, I wonder what's in that book. It's just like a picture of Batman and Cat, the Bat Cat one, for instance.
Uh huh.
Like it's a Jim Lee picture doing a picture that honestly looks like a lot of other Jim Lee pictures that he's done, where they're just sort of standing there looking at me. Like there's nothing about what's in that comic book other than if you open up this comic book, Batman and Catwoman will be in it.
Okay, well then to play devil's advocate with you, because I don't disrespect that opinion in general, but like say that Eternals cover, that is Eternals number 11 by Asad Ribic, and I apologize if I mispronounced any of these. Mike would be here doing a better job, but I'm filling in for him. I didn't even tell everybody why Mike and Patrick aren't here. Patrick's not here because he wasn't supposed to be here last week, but whatever didn't happen last week that he was here last week was happening this week. And then Mike had the pre-planned thing that we've been talking about for a few weeks. So everybody knew he wasn't going to be. So I got to fill in with all this. So thank God you're here, Johnny, to
yeah,
give me your take on this stuff. But anyway, that Eternals number 11, that makes you wonder what the heck is going on there, right? That's kind of
absolutely. You're totally right. Yeah. Mm-hmm.
And then the X-Men number 10 with Wolverine, the female Wolverine. That's by Pepe Larraz.
Yeah, I like that one a lot. Mm-hmm.
There's a cover, a claw in the front of somebody. I don't know if we're supposed to assume that's Lady Deathstriker. That's what I assumed, but who?
That's what I assume as well.
Yeah, you're kind of wondering, who is that? Who's she getting ready to fight? I don't know. And then that Thor, it's got that's pretty action-packed, But I for pretty much all the rest, that last flight out, number 6, I don't even know anything about that, but that looks
that does at least sort of tell a little bit of a story. Like you see that there's something going on with some sort of a giant spaceship and people on horses. Those two things are sort of contradictory to one another. So you can see that it's some sort of maybe post-apocalyptic world. I don't know anything about that book, but
did you vote on these?
Yeah, I voted. Mm-hmm.
Okay, good. I'll be interested to hear what well, right now I'm just going to guess that your votes were Eternals number 11, X-Men number 10, and Last Flight Out number 6. By the way,
you got 1 out of 3.
Oh, dang. Okay. So anyway, just to cover the covers in general, that's Star Wars number 22 by Raza. That's one name. I said the X-Men number 10, Eternals number 11. That's Batman 89. 5, that's the B cover by Adam Hughes. Then Batman Catwoman number 11, B cover by Jim Lee and Williams. And then Bat Girls, number 5, B cover by Michael Cho. And we covered the Thor 24, number 24 by Daniel Warren Johnson. That Last Flight Out, number 6 by Eduardo Ferragato. And the Darth Vader cover, number 22. I don't know, Don Renand. Yeah. I'm reading Mike's writing here. He's much better writer than me, but it's still trying to decipher it a little bit. But anyway, then the last one is Ghost Rider, number 1, second printing by Ryan Stegman. So those are the 10. And without further ado, see if I can.
You took them away. They're gone.
Yeah, those are the 10 covers. I'm going to give you the top 3 now.
Oh, okay.
So number 3.
And I'll tell you why they're not good.
Okay, sounds good. Okay.
Okay.
So number 3 is Thor number 24. So was this one of the 3? Did I said I guessed this one? No, I didn't guess this one for you. Okay, why is this one?
Yeah, no, I didn't. I just don't like that art style. That has nothing to do with what I was saying before. I just don't like the art style.
Oh, okay. Okay. Yeah, actually,
that's just a personal. There is a lot going on there. It's just my personal opinion on the art style. So
it is kind of funky, but I liked it. Yeah, I actually voted for this. And then number 2 is.
Wait, do you want to say who voted for it? Like, is that still your thing?
Mike was doing that, but he didn't. In his giving me a list of how this played out, he didn't give me that information, so I don't know.
Okay.
Sorry about it.
No, that's all right.
Then number 2 is Ghost Rider number 1, second print by Ryan Stegman.
I did pick that one.
Oh, is this so? That goes against.
It's just a cool picture, I know, but man, a flaming skull. Like, so far, I've voted for every Ghost Rider cover I think that we've had on here. It just
me too. Yeah.
It doesn't tell you anything, but it's just a cool drawing.
Yeah. Did you vote for this, Lexi? So we know we know the 3 of us voted for it. Did you vote for the Thor, Lexi? You remember? Okay. And then number 1 is Star Wars 22 by Raza.
I also voted for that one. It's just a cool drawing. It's just a cool drawing of Chewbacca. It's cool looking.
It is really.
I mean,
cool.
It doesn't tell you a whole lot about it, but I don't know. Star Wars is a little bit different. Like, I do feel like I'm judging them a little bit differently than I would judge other books.
Okay.
Because honestly, on a Star Wars cover, I do sort of I like it when they show the original characters from the original movies. And he looks pretty cool there.
He does. I like it. I actually voted for all 3 of these covers.
Oh, really?
So, yeah. Which one of the and just to let everybody know, we changed up how we voted a little bit this week to make it pure. I won't get into the details how, but it's more of a pure vote where we didn't even know what each other was voting for. We used to know that. So I just voted for these 3 straight up. And my opinion's obviously awesome. So what was the one of yours that I guessed correctly? You remember?
Me?
The Last Flight Out.
You mean the other one that I voted for?
Yeah. What are the other 2?
Oh no, it was the X-Men one.
Oh, X-Men 10. Okay, gotcha. Okay.
Yeah, my only problem with the X-Men one was I didn't really like the coloring on that one, but I thought the illustration itself was really good.
Okay. Yeah. Yeah, this was another tough week for me. I always give Mike the props of picking some great covers. I think he does a great job.
Can you pop the other ones up there for a second?
Okay.
Okay. I love Adam Hughes, right? But the Batman Catwoman one with Adam Hughes there.
Yeah. Yeah.
What is happening there? Is she peeking out from under his cape?
Yeah, I don't know. It seemed like that could be what it was. Yeah.
Just such a bizarre layout to me. Like, I don't know what's happening there. it feels like he just sort of threw down some like, okay, I mean, like he draws a great Catwoman face, but I've seen it a lot of times, and I just don't
Well,
know what's happening there.
mentioning the face part of it's the biggest reason I didn't vote for this was because I think the proportion of Batman's face is off. It's like his forehead is so huge. You know, imagine if he
His
doesn't
head's real low. Yeah, his head's. I mean, is his arm up there? Like, is it him? Yeah, he's putting his arm up, like holding his cape,
above his
like
nose.
over above his nose, so you can't see his face. But then she's peeking out from in there. That just that didn't work for me at all. And I usually love, like, usually if you said I'm putting Adam Hughes in there, I'm pretty much voting for it.
Yeah.
And then, like I said, the Jim Lee one, I'm a big fan of Jim Lee, but that I've seen that
kind of picture a million times. Yeah. Right. I think I lost your audio, John.
thing there.
Oh, there you are. Go. So what did you say?
Just, I said the Jim Lee one. They're just standing there. I've seen that so many times.
Okay. What about the Batgirls?
I just don't like that art style.
Yeah, I didn't really like that one either.
Yeah.
And then the Darth Vader. And got anything to say about the Darth Vader in the last Flight Out?
I don't know any of those characters, so I don't care about it, I guess, as much. And it's just somebody standing there, and then when they do that, when they do the thing with the person, a full body shot, and then a face up in the, in sort of the background, man, that reminds me of like those pictures that people used to get, like portraits of their family or whatever, where they'd have like one picture and then the floating head behind them of them too. Sort of like baby pictures or young people pictures that back in the 70s and 80s that was popular. That really reminds me of that, and I don't like it.
That's funny. This is gonna make me actually probably buy all of these, except I still probably won't buy the Batgirls because, like I said, I really don't like that art too much. But I'll probably get the Batman '89, even though I think just imagine what Batman would look like if he took his mask off right there. How high his forehead would be, and it just seems so weird. And with especially the way his ears are, it's not even like he could possibly be leaning forward, making the perception of his eyes be lower. With the way his ears are, it seems like he's completely straight face forward. So his eyes proportioned to the top of his head are just crazy to me. So, but
do you think his shoulders, though, is what I'm saying? Like, do you think his shoulders are quite a bit lower, and you're just seeing like his forearm there across his eyes?
Oh, I see what you're saying. That could be true. Yeah, that could be true. Yeah, actually, I think you're right. Yeah, that seems like it. He's got that's his elbow on the left side of the cover.
Yeah.
Okay.
I don't want to have to think about it that much, though, man. Like,
right.
That's why I was looking at it and I was like, I don't know what exactly is going on here.
Hey, yeah. So, first of all, I wanted to let people know too. These are comics that are coming out this Wednesday, April 13th, 2022. So you can look for these in your local comic book store, of course. But I wanted to kind of reveal something else today that my lovely wife helped me come up with this. But we're actually going to start another giveaway next week. This one's less work though, John. Okay. So
fantastic. Yeah.
This one is to encourage participation during the live stream. So this might still not work for you if you were not part of the Accelerate group anyway, because you actually have to participate in the live stream. And what we're calling it is the Pick 3 Profits. So the first profit is PROPHET. Second is Profits, PROFITS. And the way this is going to work is if anybody comments in the live stream, basically I will put up this graphic starting next week, or actually next week's Easter, so we're going to be off next week. The following week, I'll put up this graphic at the beginning of the show so you can see what the 10 covers are. And then if you comment in the comments, any 3 predictions involved with the Pick 3 comic covers coming out this week or segment, and you post that in the comics before we actually reveal everything, I will buy you and ship you whatever cover ends up being number 1 for the week. So hypothetically, this week, if someone would have said, Kevin's going to pick Star Wars, Thor, and Ghost Rider, that would be accurate. And then I would send them a copy of that Star Wars number 22 and that cover in particular. But it could be anything. It could be like, it could just be Star Wars 22 is going to be the top cover. Johnny's going to pick, which one did you say you picked again? I forgot. Or X-Men. So it could be Star Wars number 22's going to be the number 1 book. Johnny's going to pick X-Men number 10. And Ayla's going to pick Thor 24. Whatever, any prediction, 3 predictions that all come true in the comments win you whatever the top book is of the week. What do you think of that one?
Yeah, that sounds good.
You think I'm insane though, right?
So they have to comment during the live stream on the YouTube video?
Exactly. Or it can be the Facebook Live video. Either one shows up on our comments.
Right.
The Facebook live stream or the YouTube live stream. You got to comment during the live stream because it only qualifies you if you give your 3 predictions prior to the reveal, of course. So.
Prior to the reveal, how would they do that? Like,
So I'm going to show this. I'm going to show this graphic, and tell everybody what the top 10 covers are this week at the beginning of the show. So then by the time we get to the reveal, they'll have time. Yeah.
Perfect.
Make their predictions. Yeah. That sound fun?
Yeah.
All right. We talk about when Exceller comes to fruition in the future with a brick and mortar store a lot. And, I have a lot of ideas like this on a regular basis. I feel like I drive you guys crazy a little bit because you're like, that is not going to work. Are you serious? That it's like every idea I have involves either extreme cost to us or free for them, no profit.
Yeah.
Do I do that?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. Lots of like, we should give this away and we should give this away. And
yeah, right.
We should do this and it's expensive. And I'm like, dude, how are we going to do that? Like,
right. Well, see, that's why I could never do this by myself. I need you guys to kind of keep me in check, so.
Yeah.
Oh, and actually the last thing I wanted to add involving the covers as well is the standings. So I didn't have who voted for what, but you can see on the standings that Ayla, myself, and Valor, Ayla's my daughter, Valor's Patrick's son, all picked perfectly this week. Oh, and John, it actually looks like you picked 2.
Yeah, I did pick 2 of them. Mm-hmm.
Yeah. So Mark and Johnny picked 2 of the 3 covers correctly. Actually, yeah, I don't know how. Oh, these are the standings. These aren't the standings.
That's the weekly, yeah. I think that's just for this week.
Oh, you get 3 for picking the first one. The first place one, 2 for picking the second place one, and 1 point for picking the third place one. So that means, you know what I'm saying? So we picked all correct. Johnny would have had to pick 2, Johnny and Mark 2, Emily and Tom 2 as well, with Mike. See, yeah, I can't. It's hard for me to make it. Huh? Did you?
He's got his system. I don't know.
I picked the second and Ghost Rider.
Are you sure?
Yes.
Okay. He doesn't have you on there, and he's not here to defend himself or his chart.
Or I don't remember, and I have a different Ghost Rider.
There's only one Ghost Rider one this week. Oh, but you're thinking maybe you could be confusing it with a different week, basically. Okay. All right, so that's the top 3 covers coming out this week. All right. Now we're gonna do the second installment of
You Got a Deal. Are you for real?
today. And we're going to work this a little bit different today since it's only me and Johnny. I'm not going to work Johnny to death. He's going to give us his awesome input if he has any of these books we show. But basically, I got 25 books this week. Last week was 30. And we are selling these 25 books For what did we say, John?
$30, isn't it always $30?
No. It was, remember, it was less than $1 this week.
Oh yeah, that's right.
It
Is it 25 books or is it more than 30 books?
No, it's going to change. Basically on whatever lot I purchase is going to, change the value of all the books and all that stuff. It could change every week, based on what I buy.
So basically, you're buying a mystery lot. This is the deal, right? You buy a
Yeah.
mystery lot every week, and then
Yep.
you actually show what the mystery lot is, try and figure out some sort of value for it, possibly. But you show it to your customers and say, this is what you would get if you bought it for the same price that you bought it from.
And they
Yeah.
can buy it for that. I'm going to sell it to them for what I bought it for.
The
plus
same
shipping.
price, yeah.
Yeah.
So no
then-
profit, no profit to you. You're just sort of revealing somebody's mystery pack and showing what it is, and they can make a decision knowing what's in it instead of having to do the mystery.
Exactly.
Okay.
And as I keep saying every week, and I'm going to say it again now, is hypothetically, if there's an Incredible Hulk 181 in here, I'm still selling it for, and I think it was $23 is what it was. So
Okay, yeah, that sounds right. Yeah.
I'm going to reveal 25 books. You can get these 25 books for $23 plus shipping. And then, like I said, if there's an Incredible Hulk 181 in there, you're still going to pay 23. First person to say they want it gets it. And the only thing I wanted to add that I hadn't said before is, as Johnny pointed out to me earlier today, there's a lot of these books someone wouldn't care to want. So why am I going to charge shipping for all of it? So basically, you can tell me which books you don't want to make the shipping cheaper. So hypothetically, like last week, we had the Pikachu book that when I looked that up on eBay afterwards, I think a couple sales on eBay that actually went through for that one book were like $35. So hypothetically, if someone just wanted just to pay the $30 that the lot for last week was selling for, but just wanted Pikachu to make the shipping cheap as possible, could have done that. I could have just kept the other 29 books, and you can do that with all of them but one, or take one or two away that you don't care about, but it'll make the shipping cheaper. So anyway, that's just a thing that I wanted to let everybody know we're doing. So without further ado, here we go. I gotta get my camera ready here. When I sit for so long, it cuts out on me, so I gotta kind of reboot it. Give me a second here. Sorry about it. If I had more moderators, this would be going much more smoothly. No, I should have had this over there for you, Lexi, right?
Yeah.
All right. All right. In the room. Oh. Sorry for the feedback. Sorry. All right, here we go. Ready? You ready, John?
Yes.
All right.
I'm
So
ready.
the first one we got is X-Men, Men and X-Men, number 2, The End. I'm not familiar with this at all. It glares. Oh, that's perfect placement for the glare too. Can't really change that now though. This cover looks like it's in good shape. This bag looks old though. If you can see kind of scuffing on there, I think it's more about the bag than it is the actual cover. But I haven't taken it out because this is the first time for me as well as I show these. Oh, then Magnus Robot Fighter number 26. I think this is the volume 1 of these as well. Did you have any Magnus back in the day, John?
I had the first couple, I think, at one time. I don't know if I still have them.
You got
The first couple of the Valiant series.
All right, then we got Harbinger number 19. Again, I think this is volume 1.
I never had any Harbingers.
This is a run act. This looks like might be not a run, but a few of these. Harbinger number 21.
Were you a Valiant fan back in the day?
I wasn't, but I am now. Actually, I wasn't
really?
back. Yeah, it's kind of like the same way I am with Image now. I'm trying to
Right.
get some older stuff, but I wasn't back then when I could have got it. Which is probably good because I'm getting it cheaper now than it was back then. I think in general,
Some of it, I think, I don't know, are the early issues of because they were sort of lower print runs, the early stuff.
I don't
Valiant.
know. Yeah,
Yeah, they might be a little harder to get.
I wish we, you had the capability. You could look these up, but with the way we're set up today, you don't even have that capability
No.
where you can look up one. Okay, then Harbinger number 20.
Yeah, I don't think any of these are terribly expensive, but I don't know.
Oh, this is more of a modern book. I actually was getting this when it was new. This is Eclipse number 3. This is by Top Cow. This is a great story too. I actually read this. You familiar with those at all, John?
I think I started reading Eclipse, maybe. Is that the one where there's like no sun? I can't remember. They have to wear suits outside. I don't know.
Yeah, there's too much sun.
Post-apocalyptic, yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, I started reading it. I have the first couple issues of that, I think.
Yeah, that was good. Then I got Wild Star number 2. Oh yeah, this is me.
That's all you, yeah. Early Image.
Yeah.
That was Jerry Ordway
Okay.
series.
Yep. Okay. Then I got what the heck? Back from the Dead, number 18. Acclaim Comics. This cover actually looks pretty cool. Oh, no, this is a Valiant. This is an odd Valiant. This must be like volume 2 or volume 3, maybe even. That's actually Exo Manowar, but I didn't even actually see that on there. Have you ever seen this?
No, that must be like the newer Valiant, like when they left. They were gone for a while and then they came back.
Yeah, they've done that like 2 or 3 times. So yeah. But you see how it's
Must
right
be
here?
one
It
of
says XO Manowar. I didn't even notice that right away.
Oh yeah, that's cool.
Yeah.
I like covers that have the reflection like that. That's cool.
And this is actually one of my favorite Valiant covers of all time. I actually have a CGC copy of this. You're going to be familiar with this, John. Turok, Dinosaur Hunter. Number 1.
Yeah.
You remember that?
Wait, Kevin, pull that away for a second, the Turok, and let me look at the XO again. You know the lights that you have that are sort of the glaring on the book.
Yeah.
It kind of works for that cover. That's working there. I like it.
Oh, it does, yeah.
Yeah.
Because the glass from his helmet kind of reflects.
Yeah. Okay, go ahead. Back to the Turok. Yes, I have several copies of that book.
Yeah, me too.
I was a sucker for the chromium.
Well, I got the exactly. The chromium's the coolest. And the only reason I have the CGC is because I was on a search one day for CGC when I was first investigating slab books, and I found a 9/8 CGC of this for sale for $20. And I'm like, the CGC process costs more.
Yeah.
So I was like, I'm just gonna grab it. So
Yeah, that was a Bart.
Whatever happens with that, I'm set.
Bart Sears art.
Yeah. All right, then we've got Ninjak number 10. This is again, I think this is must be volume 2 or volume 3. No, give me one second. All right.
Lots of Valiant fans. This is it. This is your thing.
Yeah, exactly. This is Exo Manowar number 54. This is from 95. So when did the first volume of the Valiant books come out? That was 80s, right?
I think it was maybe very early 90s. I'm not sure. Maybe the late 80s.
So this might be volume 2 or volume 2 or volume 3, something like that.
Yeah, that's not volume 1.
Right.
I don't think. I actually, you know what number is it? 54.
Yeah, that could be. The later issues got a different style.
I don't know. It might be. I don't know.
All right, this is another one from that. It's definitely the same volume as the other one, Exo Manowar number 17. Still pretty cool cover. Yeah, my camera's set up. That's what I need to. That's what I need to work out the most for this episode, for this segment. It'd be much better if I could get the full book in there and there wasn't a glare, of course. So I'll work on that for the future. All right, staying on the Valiant trend. This is Shadow, number 17. This is definitely volume 1, though. Yeah.
Shadow Man. Mm-hmm.
Oh, Shadow Man. Yeah, that's right. That's right. Yeah, as you can tell, I've never collected this book. Did you get these at first?
I probably have a Shadow Man or two, but I never got really into Valiant. I tried them out, I think, and didn't like them.
The Exo Man of War was the first one I ever got any interest in, which now I'm totally interested in the newest version of him. All right, we're finally getting away from Valiant here. The Westwood Witches by Amigo Comics. This is issue number 2. Cover's not bad. Never heard of it, though.
Never heard of it either.
All right, then we're getting some Dynamite here. Vampirella, The Dark Powers.
Now we're talking.
You know, I wish there was someone calculating value here, because as far as I am concerned right now, this might be a "Are you for real?" order instead of "You got a deal" order. All right, now we're finally getting some DC too. Time Masters, Vanishing Point, number 6 of 6. You ever seen that thing?
No.
I think it could be interesting. I don't know.
Yeah, maybe it's the last issue of a miniseries. It's yeah.
And actually, got another one. Time Masters, Vanishing Point, number 2 of 6.
Wow. All right.
And yeah, Time Masters. Oh, this is A Search for Batman. This one has Conan on the cover. This art's pretty cool, though.
Oh, that must have been when Batman was stuck back in time because he got killed, sort of, but he actually got sent back in time.
Okay.
And he was like hanging out with like the cavemen and stuff all through time.
Okay, I don't remember that at all. But
yeah.
Sounds pretty cool, though.
It was during Final Crisis or right after Final Crisis, and they were doing they had like that was when Dick Grayson took over as Batman for a time.
Oh, okay.
I believe. Yeah. I believe. Mm-hmm.
It might have been when I wasn't paying attention at all, but that's not. Yeah. But I could have been paying attention and just forgot to. That's obviously a problem. So, all right, now we're getting back to Valiant a little bit here. Unity, number 25.
Number what? 25.
Yeah.
This must be a newer series too.
Yeah, I think that logo, that's like a volume 4 logo.
Yeah.
And then Unity, number 24. Again, this is big time for a Valiant fan. Okay, Unity, number 21.
It's a pretty cool cover.
Yeah. Oh, and then Unity, number 1. That's got to be worth something. That's probably a $23 book on its own. And it's a number 1 and all.
I doubt it.
All right, then I've got. Okay, this is interesting. It's another number 1. This is probably a 20-some book by itself. That's what I'm going to always predict for number 1s. Whatever the value of the current lot is. And if you're just tuning in, you can have any of these books you're seeing, or all of these, I should say, or any, whichever you choose, for $23. 25 books for $23. It's a mystery unboxing, but there's no mystery for you here before you bought it, or before you buy it. So,
Kevin? I got a question for you. Are you revealing who the seller was? So that is this like a sort of almost like a review of the seller, or do you buy it from the same seller each time?
I'm glad you asked that because I meant to discuss that with you guys before. But what I basically decided on my own without discussing it with you guys is I didn't want to have any negative, connotations directed towards anybody. So what I was going to do, if when it does sell, then let people know, like anytime it does sell, let people know, hey, I got this from blank.
That makes sense. Yeah.
So then it's a positive review for whoever sold it to me,
Gotcha.
Make sense?
Yes, sir.
You think that's a good idea in general to kind of keep any negativity from anybody that, would think that this particular lot today is are you for real?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, I guess. Yeah. If somebody might have, yeah, we could talk about it later.
Yeah. So, okay, this one's United States versus Murder Inc. Number 1. It's Brian Michael Bendis. Know anything about it?
Nope. I'm rooting for the United States in that, though. I'll tell you that much.
Yeah, me too. Yeah, absolutely. Then we got United States versus Murder Inc. Number 5. Could be number 2, of course. Oh, crap. Get my phone again. Number 5. I think these might be getting them closer to the phone. Might be making things worse. I didn't think of that. Let me get that away real quick. These all, again, the same as last week's lot. They all look like they're in really good shape. Which I bagged and boarded that lot from last week, and man, like I think I love to quote you when I say, a new bag and board sure does make a bad book look pretty, and I don't think there's any bad books in it though, because they look pretty before I even bagged them.
The opposite holds true too, right? A bad bag and board makes a good book.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah, absolutely. Yep.
Yeah.
All right, back to some DC. Good. Which this is a great cover in my opinion. The Unexpected, number 7. This is a Dark Knight's Metal crossover or whatever you want to call it. I think I actually got this book new. And then last but not least, oh, this one's even cooler. The Unexpected, number 5. Another Dark Knight's Metal crossover. This is a chromium cover. Can you even really see that with the way the...
Set it down again. Yeah, you can see it fine.
Okay.
I think. Yeah, that's pretty cool.
All right, that'll do it. So we get... so this is 25 books for $23 plus shipping. And if you pay the 23, you don't have to get all of them. If you don't want to pay the shipping for all of them, you can get whichever ones you want out of it to make the shipping cheaper. But that'll do it for the second installment of...
You got a deal. Are you for real?
I wish I had a value on this one, but I don't, folks. You know what? I'm going to give the value next week. I'll figure this out, and or maybe I'll just include it in tomorrow's podcast. I'll add the when I edit during the editing process, I will add the value of the books in the podcast, because you can buy these books from us for that cost up until Saturday at noon. Whether you hear this, or obviously you experienced it now live, or you hear it during the podcast that I'll post no later than Tuesday, or you watch it anywhere in between here and Saturday, listen to it, you get it Saturday by noon. And speaking of that with the podcast, I wanted to just show these regarding the midweek crawl through. Have you been checking out my midweek crawl throughs, John?
Yeah.
Did you check out last week's yet?
I think so. No,
Star
no,
Wars?
I did not. I did not. I did not.
Okay. Well, we covered Star Wars Pocket Model. So I just wanted to throw up some of these pictures real quick. I just like to throw up the pictures so, people can envision what we just talked about because it's just a podcast. But these are what the cards look like front and back. That's what the mat looks like. This is Star Wars Pocket Model. So it's a card game that the cards you bust out of the plastic. You bust the model pieces out of these plastic cards and then build the models. Here's a little bit closer picture. But those are built out of pieces out of a plastic card. Have you ever seen these before, John?
No.
Pretty cool, right? Look at that.
Yeah, those are pretty cool. Now, can I listen to that on the YouTube machine, or do I have to go to Spotify?
You have to. Well, it's on all the podcast services. You have to. It's not just Spotify. The only thing that's exclusive to Spotify is the trivia question. You have to use Spotify for that. But as far as any other podcast, you can listen to it on, Google Podcasts, Apple Podcasts, all of them. So, but yes, you can only hear this explanation of this game.
But can I listen to it on the YouTube machine?
No.
That's unfortunate.
It's a podcast.
You can put them on YouTube still. You could still put it on there. It just wouldn't have any pictures.
And basically, are you voting for that right now?
For you doing that?
Yeah.
Yeah, I think you should have everything everywhere, even if it doesn't have pictures.
No, that might be true. As long as it's easy, man. There's so many hours I have involved in this already.
That's true. I don't know if that would be hard.
Yeah.
To do because you're doing all the technical stuff. So.
Yeah. But anyway, showing this picture with the close up. I love the way these minis look. This game is very fun and very simple, which is what I commented on during the podcast is exactly what I'm going for when it comes to family games and stuff. We'll get to heavy strategy games later, but right now we're kind of in a minis, kind of pretty easy game, kind of. That's where we currently are when we're talking about games on Thursday. So for people that are more interested in that kind of thing. All right. So getting to the unique topic of the week now. This is actually suggested by you, John. So once again, thank God we have you today. Because I'd have been having your topic suggestion
all by yourself.
By myself. I probably would ask Lexi to chime in randomly. She's sitting here with me, but thank God you're here. But we're going to talk about comic book store business models, right?
Sure.
So you came up with this idea after watching some videos involving what's the Mile High Comics guy?
Oh my goodness, Chuck something or other.
Yeah, his name's kind of hard to say, and even when you're looking at it, let alone trying to remember it. In my opinion.
Yeah.
And then just the ones we're more familiar with especially New Dimensions, kind of familiar with their kind of business model in general, right?
I guess sort of like, I don't know exactly if they decide to write down a business model, how that would be. I just know it from a customer's point of view, sort of what it looks like to me. Yeah.
Okay. So what's your take on, we're just talking about two things right there in particular. What's your take on either of those, or what would you do? What is going to be your vote when Acceler exists? What do you
Well, with New Dimension, first of all, they have several different stores, and each of those has sort of a different model of how they do things. I guess the one that we're talking about here that's the biggest contrast to the way that Mile High does it is sort of they have a store in Elwood City, Pennsylvania, that is primarily all dollar books, and it's a lot of dollar books, and so they're sort of their lower end things for the most part, and then they also have new books and a few toys or whatever, right? And then some wall comics, what you would consider like wall comics, like the higher end, more expensive books. But for the most part, like I think the reason why people would go in there is for the dollar books.
I agree. Yeah.
So that's sort of one thing. And then the way Mile High is, So they're buying and selling used comics there, right?
Yeah.
For very cheap.
Right.
They're buying them cheap, they're selling them cheap, they're using their other locations, anything I guess maybe that wouldn't sell for a long period of time. You just make it $1 and send it to that location, right?
Right.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Frozen.
Yeah. Can you hear me? Uh-oh. I can't hear you if you're talking, John. More technical difficulties. All right, so basically to continue on with what you were saying, is that New Dimensions, and there you are, I can hear you now.
Yeah, I disappeared, or you disappeared.
I hope I was here the whole time. I don't know though.
I don't know if I was either.
We could see you, but we couldn't hear you.
Okay.
So last thing you were talking about, Elwood being primarily the dollar books, they just get those books out of there, and then what?
Yeah, so that's that. We're just talking about backstock because new comics all sort of work the same, right? They are what they are.
Yes,
Okay,
exactly.
so mostly it's like they buy and sell for cheap at Elwood New Dimension, and then to contrast that with sort of the Mile High Comics, which is they sort of buy and sell more at a premium.
Yeah.
For older comics.
Right.
They're not necessarily super interested in moving through inventory as quickly, I guess.
Moving it that much, right?
But he is interested in having what you're looking for. Whereas, the New Dimension model for that particular store again, you're not going there to find a specific thing typically.
Right.
Right? It's sort of like potluck, right? What you come out with.
Kind of what I'm doing with the mystery box. You're just looking. You're looking to see if you can find that couple books you're looking for cheap.
Or not even necessarily looking for you. You might be discovering something.
Oh, that's
right?
true too. Yeah, exactly. Yep.
And then the Mile High is if you are specifically looking for I would say something rare. That would be the place to go. And Chuck sort of on the shows that I was listening to him on was saying like, people sometimes complain about they complain about the prices
being overpriced. Yeah. Mm-hmm.
Being overpriced, and his retort was, well,
you'll come back here if you can't when you can't find it somewhere else.
When you can't find it somewhere else. Yeah, this is where and he was sort of talking about replacement price. Like when he prices stuff, he prices it at the cost that it would cost him to replace it as well.
Right.
So it's not like he just wants to sell it. He wants to also get it back.
Yeah.
So that the next guy can find it there.
Yeah.
Which I thought was interesting.
Yeah, I do too. And, so the biggest thing I wanted to ask you about him, and this obviously is just your opinion because we've never been to Mile High, although I want that to happen someday, is, he's got millions and millions of books though. So, you're saying that he's primarily dealing with the, harder to find books, but he's got to have tons and tons of the common books you could find in most dollar bins as well that,
That's true. He has those as well, but it sort of seems like, I mean, from my perspective, if you were just starting out in the hobby and you don't know what you like yet, you don't know what you're interested in, and you're trying to experiment, that a store like the New Dimension where everything's real cheap and you can try it out for free, or not for free, but for $1, like that's cheap, right?
Yeah.
That would be where to start, and then you'd have some sort of mixture type of stores at intermediate levels, and then when you're sort of like at the end of your comic, like when you're sort of like expert level, I guess, then that's when you'd want to go to a place like Mile High.
Right.
I've seen real quick. I've seen stores make the mistake of we used to have a store in the town I'm in that when they first opened, their back stock was amazing. Like it was a really good place to go hunting, but they didn't really add to it that often. And
Uh-huh.
then they started having sales where they were selling the stuff off for really cheap, well under market value.
Yeah.
And then the problem was that that after a while they were making money those days, I guess, not necessarily a whole lot of profit though. Um, so what happened after a while was their back stock kept getting thinner and thinner until it was to the point where the back stock that they had, I don't think they could have given it away at the end.
Yeah.
It was so
Such
picked through.
undesirable stuff. Yeah.
Picked
Yeah.
through, and they never really added to it. So I guess Chuck's answer to that is like that is why he's doing the way he does it, is he wants to sell it at a price where he knows he can replace it.
Right.
So I don't know. They're just sort of two different business models on back issues again.
Which I think
Polar opposite.
Yeah, those are the polar opposite ones. Obviously, there's kind of, and then everything in between options. And, just looking at it from the business's perspective, I can relate to this just a little bit because I own my own lawn care company. So when I first started, my prices were dirt cheap because I was just looking for customers. And then as I've grown and as I've developed a reputation, then one of my commitments to my customers is to never kind of overwhelm myself. And then the only way I can do that is then to raise my price. Well, not the only way, but the way I chose to do it was to raise my prices to kind of then, reduce obviously my new customers, which is kind of seems like the way the Mile High concept is too. I know it's for the other reasons you mentioned, but also because of the inventory problem you also mentioned from the other store. If you kind of overprice, for lack of a better way to describe it, who knows if it's technically overpriced really, but if you take that, you're intentionally avoiding running out of inventory with that as well, which, like I said, the same thing with my business model. And I think it's awesome. I think it's a great way to do it. And I love that whenever I am looking for something and I'm kind of at that level where I'm more, well, I would say it's equal, where I'm as much looking for something specific as I am for just the mystery finds and exploring stuff. I enjoy both of them equally now. So when I do that, most of the time I don't mind paying what it might even cost more if I just grab it. Like, and you're talking about how New Dimension has a lot of different stores. We were talking about the New Dimensions in Waterfront in Pittsburgh, and that store's more towards the Mile High. They have the dollar bins. Well, I guess it's a good mix. They have the dollar bins and everything, but then they have on the wall, and I don't mean literally hanging on the wall, but like just long boxes around the wall of the store that have individually priced books. And like 2 weeks ago, I think I just bought 4 Star Wars books, and I didn't even look them up to see if I could find them cheap or anything. They had them I needed them, and I was there, so I grabbed them.
Yeah, exactly. I like that. I mean, like, I guess that's the more the model of most stores, and that may well be sort of the model of Mile High as well. I'm sure they probably have dollar books as well.
Yeah.
But I guess like yeah, I would say that's more the standard, like where you sort of have a little bit of everything. Like I was sort of picking sort of two extremes.
Yeah. Mm-hmm.
It is just sort of interesting the two, what I would say are very successful comic book store businesses have sort of polar opposite approaches in the way they do backstock. Yeah.
Have you ever seen a store that, because I've heard about this, but I've never seen one personally, where they just sell backstock? They don't even sell new issues?
No, I've never been to one of those.
Have you heard about them as well?
I've heard about them, yeah. I've just never been to one.
Those are pretty interesting. And then, we've talked about before the other store we go to local to us, Painted Vision Comics in Woodbridge, Virginia. They have a primarily new issues, no backstock, aside from key issues on the wall and stuff. But in general, no backstock of any kind or dollar issues. At least the last time I was in there, which has been a while now. But they just focused on new issues. So yeah, it's all over the places to the way you want to go. You know what I've never seen or heard about that I would really like, and of course I would submit this for review with us in the Exceller group to have our store be this way. Is tell us what you want if we don't have it, and we'll get it. Now, I'm going to kind of specify this by saying we maybe even have a guarantee, which is a scary word, that we can do that for people too, because so many times I have mentioned, especially in my local store, hey, I'm looking for this. And I get the typical, I can find that for you. And then I just never hear from it again. I'll ask maybe over the next 2 or 3 visits, hey, did you have any luck? And then it just kind of goes away. I would actually want a kind of a way of submitting that we can find you this book and we'll sell it to you for fair market value. But kind of a, guarantee we can find that book, then, it really does make it. So whenever I'm looking, I'm currently looking to fill up my Star Wars and Spawn gaps. So literally if my store offered that and they were consistent with it and reliable with it, rather than going to eBay or whatever sources I choose, I'll just say, hey, okay, it's that time of month again for me. I'm looking for Star Wars, or email them or whatever. I'm looking for Star Wars number 57. Can you get that for me? And then they get it for me. I don't have to do the searching, and they sell it to me for fair market, that kind of thing. That'd be great to have too, don't you think?
Well, I don't know if I'd use the word guarantee. I tend to want to avoid any kind of definites on anything.
Right.
Because you can paint yourself into a spot.
I know.
Hey, Kevin, I'm looking for a Amazing Fantasy 15 at a 9.6. Can you get that for me?
Well, I guess the answer is yes, right? I could. It would cost
No,
you.
I don't think you could, Kev.
There isn't any on auction right now.
No.
There isn't.
No.
Oh, I kind of thought it was a pretty typical thing.
No, that's a really rare book at a 9.6.
No, I know it's very rare.
There's
but I'm just saying,
just a few in existence.
Huh?
There's only a few in existence.
Oh yeah, 9.6.
Yeah.
Well, yeah, I wouldn't put a grade on these. If people are just looking for a book, it'd be looking for a book. They can't. I wouldn't put the guarantee on the condition.
Looking for an Action Comics #1, Kev.
Okay.
Can you get me? Can you hook me up?
All right, maybe
it's tough. I just think when you say guarantee, guarantee how? What would happen if you couldn't get it?
All right, guarantee modern book. How about that?
Yeah, that would work. Yeah, I guess. Yeah.
Yeah, these are all discussions. I'm just saying I would love to have that option to where I know I could ask them to get it for me and they'd get it for me. And I always like we were just talking about with me, I always take it to extreme with guarantees and free and stuff like this and stuff. But in general, just having that as a reliable outlet at my store that I knew if I asked them for a modern book, especially if it's within the last year, which is usually the case.
Oh, right. Yeah.
I'm like, hey man, I missed number 3. Can you get that for me? And they're only on number 6,
Yeah.
And I can't even get those.
Yeah.
Basically, if I could get it myself, I should be able to just call them and get it from them as easy. That should be the easier process for me, so.
Yeah.
So anyway, that's kind of the idea of what I'd like to add, that it doesn't seem like I've experienced that anywhere as well. So what's your vote in general? Which is better?
I don't know that one's better. I think what I enjoy doing is I like the dollar bins and the cheap stuff. The regular long box sort of back stock I enjoy too at times. I don't like to buy typically sort of the higher end stuff at a comic shop. I like to be able to compare it to other prices, and so I use sort of the eBay route or the
Yeah.
online route for that kind of stuff. So I'm usually looking for sort of the lower end stuff. It's nice to be able to get that stuff all in one place.
Yeah.
Because you're not, if you're buying dollar books or, sort of just back bin books, stuff, I'm talking about stuff that's like under $10. It's nice to be able to get it all in one place and not have to pay shipping on that, because a lot of times the shipping will cost as much as the book.
Right. Right.
So I like being able to do it all in sort of one place, and it's nice, but, but that's me. If I want sort of a higher end thing, I'll typically go online for something like that. But if I had a store like a Mile High Comics, it wasn't thousands of miles away.
You'd frequent that. More.
I'm sure I would. Yeah.
Yeah, because I think they do have. I saw Kevin Smith post a video where he was doing a tour there, and yeah, I think they have a little bit of everything. There isn't anything you could possibly want that isn't there. But
yeah, I'm sure
that's the thing.
Again, if it was local, I'm sure I would love it. Yeah.
Well, I'm going to take a trip out. That's on my bucket list. I'm going to take a trip out there. So obviously, you're invited.
Yeah, you want to go the thousands of miles for it, but
I do.
I just feel like I would be so afraid that I would spend, go thousands of miles, show up there and be like, well, I just have my hands in my pocket. I do that at conventions a lot of times. I never end up buying anything, and it's like I just spent so much money getting here that.
Right. Yeah. Well, I think we're pretty much in agreement too that I don't think there's one better than the other. It's just kind of what you're personally looking for at that point in time. But if I were going to give somebody a specific thought on that, I'd go with what you said as well. That if you're a new guy, go to those dollar bins. If you're new to the hobby, go to those dollar bins. And if you're looking for something, you can probably find a lot of them in there. In particular, you can find some stuff you didn't even know existed. But if you're an experienced guy, head more towards the, store that's going
to once you have your tastes all sort of chosen and everything.
Which, just to call you out a little bit, I think you've told us a few years ago that you kind of had everything, but then you're still going, right? You still enjoy the dollar bins and I think it was
from time to time.
Yeah. But you started to move into the eBay lots more too, looking for something particular with the lots, right?
Yeah. And then now also, like, I am getting to the point in a lot of runs on things that I need just an individual issue here and there.
Yeah.
Where I'm more willing to pay the normal fair market value for it.
Yeah.
It's tough when I was going after the Marvel team ups, and I was getting those out of dollar bins for years and years and years.
Mm-hmm.
And then there was just, you get to the point where there's like 3 more that you need out of 150 issues plus the annuals or whatever, and it's just like I'm never gonna find these dollar bins at this point, and you just you're paying the $15-20 a piece for them or whatever, just to finish it off. Yeah.
Did you get any of that this week by chance? Have you gotten anything from eBay this week?
No, I haven't bought anything on eBay for a while.
Yeah, just to
or
talk
anywhere
about
for a while. Just
you've been busy, right?
Yeah, I've been busy
and
poor, and I've also been poor.
Yeah, right.
Yeah.
Well, we kind of skipped over the what we got segment because I got new books this week, but I didn't get anything else. And we hadn't talked, so I didn't know if you'd got anything. But it sounds like it was a good idea to skip it. Which, speaking of that, another one I accidentally skipped. I don't even know how I did it. I have my note cards here and everything. Is the Get It or Forget It comic book review. But we'll get back to that in a second. Hold on a second, Lexi. I just wanted to cap off the unique topic of the week. So anyway, there's a whole bunch of business models out there in between those two extremes that we didn't talk about. And it sounds like our opinion is there isn't one better than the other. It's just what you're personally looking for at the time, right?
That's right. Yeah.
All right, Lexi. Now let's go into the Get It or Forget It comic book reviews. And actually, I'm going to be the only one reviewing this week because John is not only broke but hasn't read anything recently because he's too busy, right, John?
Yeah. I haven't gotten anything this week.
So what I read this week, I read Batman Beyond. I pretty much only read this because, and I think this is something I'm going to do regularly. I'm going to choose my Get It or Forget It comic book review to be based on one of the winners of the comic book covers coming out this week from the previous week. Because it's always kind of a tough choice because we've decided to only do one book a piece. So it's kind of a tough choice to decide. So that's how it's gonna help me decide. I can't remember what place this cover placed in, actually. I think it was in the top 3, but I could be wrong. It was definitely in the top 10. It was one of the selections in the top 10, which this is a great cover. You like this cover, John?
I voted for that one, I believe.
Nice. Okay.
Yeah.
Well, basically, so this is Batman Beyond, #1, Neo year. Writers are Colin Kelly and Jackson Lansing.
Kev, I just want to say that #1 issues, like first issues of a series,
Yeah.
I give different rules for that as well. Like I just want like a pin-up picture for the first issue of a comic.
Okay. Okay. That's a good qualifier.
Yeah.
Because I would have probably called you out on that every time. I'm going to try to remember these ways to call you out every time forever, because
that's fine. Yeah.
No one calls me out more than you. So I gotta have this catalog of ways I can call you.
Yeah. But now what I don't want to see is like if that series continues, I don't want to see like another pinup of them every month. That gets boring.
Yeah, I'm tracking with you. That makes sense. That's totally something I can totally agree with. So anyway, the artist is Max Dunbar, and I actually don't know if that's actually the cover artist or just the interiors. But anyway, have you read any Batman Beyond in the past?
No, I watched the cartoon, but I didn't actually watch any or read any.
Yeah, me too. That's pretty much where I was. I never read a Batman Beyond comic before.
Is this the Terry McGinnis one?
It is Terry McGinnis. But Commissioner Gordon is actually Barbara in this book. And I'm not exactly
that's
sure.
the way, wasn't that that was the way it was on the cartoon.
Barbara Gordon was Commissioner Gordon?
Yeah, because it's in the future, yeah.
Yeah, I didn't remember that, yeah. Oh, yeah. I didn't remember that at all, though. So, but that's exactly whenever it happened in the book, I was like, well, that makes sense,
There was a period of time in, I think, the regular continuity in DC where Batman Beyond was Tim Drake. That's why I was asking if it was Terry McGinnis.
Oh, okay. It's Terry
Tim
McGinnis.
Drake Robin was at one point Batman Beyond, I believe.
Okay.
I think. Right. I mean, again, I haven't read it, but I think that's the case.
Okay. Well, this is definitely McGinnis in this one. And it's Neo year. It kind of it's a new villain as far as I'm aware of. I think his name is Lumos. It's either the name of the villain or the name of the drug that he's peddling in this. And basically, Batman's kind of on his Batman Beyond, obviously, is on his last legs to try to save Gotham. It's pretty much gone downhill. He's feeling lost, but he won't give up. Typical same kind of stories. But it's this new drug that's being secretly shipped into Gotham that he's trying to stop the importing of. And, it was fine. If you want good art, I say get it. It's definitely good art. And the interiors are good too. I liked it. If you're looking for a good story, I don't really feel one way or the other. It was just kind of real basic. What I just said is literally kind of all we know from this first issue. And it's, without kind of having it going deeper into the story, I really don't feel one way or the other. So I'll give #2 a shot. There is a Flashpoint Beyond special sneak preview for the back 4 pages of this book, which I guess that's coming out. Flashpoint Beyond is #0 is coming out this month, I think. But that's 4 pages of it is in, and I don't actually know. It actually says a sneak preview, meaning I think they're 4 pages prior to Flashpoint Beyond starting, as opposed to 4 pages from Flashpoint Beyond being taken from it for this preview. I think it's actually total separate 4 pages. So if anything important happened in those 4 pages, because I didn't really read those, then that could be a significant. No, the first appearance of is in, that kind of thing.
Yeah.
But anyway, so like I said, get it if you're more of an art lover than caring about the story. Don't really feel one way or the other as far as the story's concerned. So that's it for the Get It or Forget It comic book reviews. That's all I had this week. And then we're going to move into a classic here that I've been waiting so long for this again. And I don't mean, every time I mention that, John, I don't mean to make you feel bad. I know you got good reasons for not being here. So I don't mean that negatively when I say that over and over again. But it's time for Johnny's recap.
Oh man, I didn't take a whole lot of notes this time. I feel like this is a lot of buildup. But the I'll go, okay. The Fun Fan Freebie just got real. That contest just got real, right?
True.
So you guys should, anybody listening who's not related to us should get in on that.
Yeah.
The second thing I had was there's too many streaming services. There's just too many.
Okay.
I don't know how people do these all cost money, Kevin? Do you know?
They do,
Like
yeah.
You have to pay for Peacock or whatever separately from
Yes.
Disney Plus. You can't.
Yes.
You can maybe get bundles.
Yeah, they
I
have
guess.
a bundle. Yeah. Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Like Hulu and
many.
Disney Plus and ESPN come in a bundle. Yeah.
I did want to say that some of the stuff I watched was I tried that Hit Monkey on Hulu and.
Oh, that's right.
Yeah. And I finished watching Peacemaker, which I was a big fan of, and I watched the Batman.
Yeah, I forget.
We should talk about the Batman soon, though, because I really enjoyed that.
Now that you've seen it, yeah, we're definitely. I think we're waiting for someone. I think Mike still hasn't seen it, but we're talking about having an episode on it.
Just
Once everybody's seen it, so.
Yeah.
Just overall, what's your take on it as far as good, bad, other?
I liked it a lot. Yeah, I really enjoyed it. If you like the Arkham games, it really felt like the Arkham games to me. They took a lot of inspiration from those Arkham games.
Okay.
And I was a fan of those Arkham games.
Yeah, me too. Those are great.
Yeah. Okay.
And just to touch on Peacemaker real quick.
Yeah.
I'm sure you probably heard the podcast where I kind of changed
my.
Yeah. Okay.
Yeah. I listened to all the live stream ones for sure. Like I listen to them as soon as I possibly can, which is a lot of times Monday. Okay,
gotcha.
Don't forget to look for more content where you find podcasts. Like it's not necessarily on YouTube. It might be somewhere else. You'll get the midweek crawl throughs and all this stuff.
Okay.
And the Batman Beyond comic was a decent start. It sounds like. If you like great art, Kevin gives it high marks for art for sure.
Yeah.
And the story might be a little bit lacking at the beginning, but maybe it's just the sort of setup. So it's only the first issue.
Yeah.
And then the one thing I want to mention is to if you're watching this on YouTube specifically, to remember to like, comment, subscribe, share. With the comments, if you like, well, I should say this: if you like the content you're getting, hit like. If you don't dislike it, go ahead and hit the unlike. But tell us why. Like, I want to know why in the comments. We're always looking for ways to improve.
Yeah.
So we can take the criticism. If you want something that we're not giving you, we want to hear it.
True.
That's all I got.
All right. That wasn't bad. Come back next week or 2 weeks from now. I guess that's a good reminder right now. We will not be here next Sunday because of Easter. So the next live stream will be 2 weeks. And then we'll hopefully be blessed with Johnny again. Get more of those awesome recaps. So a couple reminders then. Take the poll through. This is through Spotify, Anchor as well. No one did it this week, so that's why we didn't even mention it. But then answer the trivia question. That is only through the Spotify app, and that will, if you get the Fun Fan Freebie phrase right, also bump the value of the basic prize up to $7 from $6. So don't forget that. And then the schedule reminders. This live stream will be edited and posted as a podcast no later than Tuesday of this week. Then we will have a midweek crawl through, which is only a podcast, posted by Friday of this week. And then look for a Sunday short show I don't think we got one today. I'm not 100% sure. Did you happen to notice that, Johnny?
No, I didn't see if there was one up yet.
Okay. So I don't know if we got a Sunday short show today, but look for that. Maybe not because Mike was out of town. So I don't know whether he had a time to pre-record it to get it scheduled to be posted. But look for that Sunday mornings, and that's when you can actually buy books off of that live stream. I don't know that. Did I say podcast? I meant live stream. And then, of course, 1 o'clock every Sunday for this live stream. And like you said, John, the Fun Fan Freebie phrase giveaway is for real now. It was for real before. I mean, I'm definitely not rich enough where $8 is a joke. I would have done the work of, and here's the key. You can get all the details at the end of the podcast, but you can get what the Fun Fan Freebie phrase words are just after the intro of all of these places you got to go. So you don't have to listen to much of it at all. It's just after the intro, right after my hello, and introduction to all the co-hosts. Boom. That's where I add the Fun Fan Freebie phrase word. I did that today for the podcast that will be out on Tuesday. It'll be right after that then. And then for the podcast on Friday, it'll be right after that then. So you got to listen to like the first minute and a half or so, not even that much maybe, just to get the 3 words, then go to the website. Get all the details after the podcast. But besides for the $8 now, you can also get the 9.2 CGC graded copy of Star Wars The High Republic #1. You do all that in the ways that we have listed in the details, then it's yours. And I'm looking to really have good news. And we got 2 weeks for that, actually. 2 weeks from now will be the next episode. So I'm going to be praying all through Easter too, amongst other things, that we have good news 2 weeks from now. All right. Do you have anything else, John?
Nope, that's it.
All right. I want to thank you again for coming in today, and really hope that we get you more weeks than not from the future, because, you know, if it wasn't for you, we wouldn't be here right now. So we appreciate it.
Well, I thank you for having me, Kev.
All right. So don't forget, appreciating great art is awesome. And reading a great story is fun. So why not pick up a comic book and do both? Exceller out.